Alright, we're here tonight with an addendum video to the XV01 series that I got. I have one video describing all the upgrades and hop-ups and all that stuff, and then describing how it likes to eat up transmission gears. I got another video that tells you there's a potential solution for that, and I wanted to show some people what I was talking about a little bit more. So right here is the regular plastic geared transmission out of a Red Cat xv01 crawler. From what I understand, and because of the parts that I bought to upgrade it, I bought the Vanquish aluminum gear case and then some hot racing steel gears. Now Robinson Racing makes those gears as well. When I bought it to upgrade that, I was looking at this stuff and I realized I actually got some of the gears mixed up with the gears from an XV01. If you look at these gears here, these are all the Tamiya gears, and I'm not sure that I've found an acceptable replacement. This is what comes out of the Axial, and then up here you can see the Tamiya, and then the Axial or Red Cat, the regular gearing. This Tamiya one is driven by a hex shaft, and then this one is driven by a little cross shaft there. Then you can see these are 52 teeth, and they're roughly the same size. So in the steel gear version of this, Hot Racing makes one that's got all the little holes around it that kind of look like you could get it to go because of the way that this bolts through. Okay, so this is the spool or rear differential locker. They call it a rear direct drive for a TA06, but it also works for the XV01 series. This one I have not seen, but I think you could have it machined fairly simply at a machine shop out of some hardened or regular steel. And then this one, I think you could use either the spool, like take this spool and have them drill the steel gear for it, but I'm pretty sure that between them you can get something to work. I did find a shaft for these little gears that was this same size and teeth count, but it was a whole steel gear and shaft together. But it may be for a car that's out of print, and it's in Britain. I'm gonna have to order that shaft and see if it actually lines up with the sizing, because depending on which one you do, like this one right here, see how that gear's just torn to shreds? This shaft is for your slipper clutch, and then they use a shorter solid piece with the same hex drive for your solid direct drive gears that don't have a slipper clutch on it. So there you go. There's a kind of a look at what comes out of one of those basic, I guess it's an Axial AX-10. Like I said, this one here came out of a Red Cat xv01 rock crawler. But you can tell some of those gears. This gear that you need that I would have to have made, and then the 52 is the main gear that I think you can get in steel, and then this one, if you remade the shaft to be a pin type, you could use the steel gear from an Axial or the hop up, because the Tamiya one has this weird hex drive. Or if you had a hex drive machined into the Axial gear, that would be another way of going about it. But these two are the same, and then these two are the same, and then this one you would have to have made. But I think because it's a straight cut gear, a machine shop has the potential of doing it. And then of course you got to just mill the pin shaft right there, so you would end up breaking axle shafts, belts, and then these cross pins right here. So I'm working out the details to put a 0.15 size motorcycle style chain and sprocket assembly, because I believe that's what they used to use on Kyoshos, so that at the end of it all, it's all like a direct steel drive system, so that the car itself, when we get it going, the only thing that we would be looking to break is probably these dog bones here, because these aluminum bead locks and the aluminum knuckles and mounts and everything else are likely to never really be able to break unless you really shear them hard against something. So there's an add-in to what I'm thinking as far as the gear solution goes for those. I imagine that this gear, getting it made, is somewhere in the $200, $300, $400 range. And then getting them to machine this direct drive spool connection from Tamiya, which is the blue pieces here, to get it, because this isn't the right gear. The hot racing will be a little bit different of a look. It'll actually look somewhat like this with all the holes in it. So that's why I think you might be able to pull that off and get it machined correctly. And then of course getting this one either machined to a hex or put to, you know, a new main shaft that does, instead of the hex, it'll do a cross pin drive. So you'd have to take all the shafts in and give them some gear cases with bearings in it and just let them kind of get to work and see if we can't get some better gears in the transmission for these vehicles. Get them to hold up better.